January 3rd, 2019, Surviving R. Kelly airs. Did you see all six? It's a 6-part series. Did you see all of it?
I don't know if I saw all of it, but I saw enough.
And you thought?
That was the spirit of conviction came over me during that moment.
And when you say the spirit of conviction, what do you mean by that?
Somehow I felt responsible that he was able to hurt so many more people. During the time, I thought maybe these were just sexual fetishes that he had with me. Maybe this was just abuse I was going through. But when I saw that his behavior had gotten so much worse, and he was allowed to hurt so many people because I lied, that did not sit well with me as an adult, as a woman.
In March of that same year, Gayle King sat down with him and the 2 women he was in a relationship with at the time. Did you happen to see that?
I did.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave out 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career.
I was very normal for him to have that type of response. And when I heard those girls speak, I knew exactly who was talking through them. I knew exactly what mission they had, the convincing, the firmness, everything that I had been trained and groomed to do. I read right in between that. And in that moment, I did not feel sorry for him at all. I felt like, you still don't get it.
Reshona Landfair, known publicly for years only as Jane Doe in the R. Kelly trial that took place in Chicago, is sharing her story in her own words for the first time. In her new memoir, Who's Watching Shorty, and in her first TV interview on CBS Mornings, Landfair describes how a relationship with R. Kelly, when she was just a young teen, turned into years of abuse, manipulation, and silence. Landfair says grooming and fear kept her from telling the truth earlier, and that watching her trauma become a public spectacle left her feeling exposed and mocked rather than protected. Now, she says, speaking out has allowed her to finally reclaim her voice and continue her healing journey. R. Kelly was found guilty of sex trafficking and sex crimes in 2021 and 2022.
You say it was a couple of weeks before your 17th birthday. You say Robert told me the copies of one of the sex tapes of 14-year-old me were beginning to be sold on the streets of Chicago and across the country. Your reaction to that when you think about hearing those words from R. Kelly, that this tape is out there, and you were 14 years old?
I was empty. I was very hollow inside. I was very confused. Didn't know what to expect. And I was embarrassed.
Why not tell the truth in 2002 or 2008 when there was finally a trial after 6 years?
That's one of my biggest regrets, not telling the truth. But again, when I have been trained and groomed since I was 18, I started believing the lies that I was telling. It was very foggy and unclear on what I really felt versus what was right or what was wrong. And even in moments where I despised Robert, I still lied for him.
When I look back at that trial, this idea that people who were not part of the jury were able to see some of that video. Mm-hmm. And the jokes that came from the video, because we're talking about seeing a person at the time, not knowing who it is, mm-hmm. for sure, being urinated on and talked about. And it's almost like, oh my gosh. Do you look at even the justice system as not protecting you to some extent? I mean, thinking about that video being played before a gallery of everyday citizens?
I definitely think things could have been handled differently. I'm happy I wasn't there to witness everyone watching that. To the world imagery, I was not made to be a victim. I was a mockery. And that was very difficult to digest. It was very disheartening to know that my body was just being displayed and tossed around. And, you know, when I look back on it, I wish things could have been done differently, but those are all of the things that I had to internalize.
In August 2022, singer Sparkle, Stephanie Edwards used Instagram to publicly refute testimony from her niece, who was identified as Jane in R. Kelly's federal child pornography trial. Sparkle, who was the first person to publicly accuse Kelly of abusing her niece in the early 2000s, claimed her niece's testimony was a lie and part of an ongoing attempt by her family to discredit her.
Hey y'all, it's Sparkle. I have my phone here because I have notes that I want to make sure that I say everything that I want to say today. And forgive the bolting of the jets overhead. We have the air and water show here. I want to put a few things in context. I'm letting those who really know, support, and love me know that this is a family feud. Yesterday was a day I didn't think I'd ever see. Nevertheless, at this point, I'm pretty much prepared for anything. After I learned my niece was cooperating with the investigators, I prayed and I thanked God. Also, I did some thinking, as I often do, throughout this whole process. Asked myself, if I were them, what could be said that legitimately make this make sense and spare them from crazy? My answer is nothing. Knowing that there's no right answer to explain their ongoing actions and years of support for Robert once learning about that tape, the clear plan is to try to take me down because I've been so vocal. I knew that there was some anger and resentment because of my stance, which is why I'm like, okay, they're gonna handle it their way, and I'm going to handle it my way. And I was thinking, one day, my niece will be older and will have a real heart-to-heart conversation. And there's no expiration on this concept, but I'm very clear that day ain't close. I know us speaking privately and candidly to her looks like betrayal of her mother. But now being an adult, I was hoping she was closer to being more independent thinking at this point. Yesterday, my niece absolutely doing the will of her mom. This is another form of the terrible decision making of her mom. And in my opinion, the unfortunate continuing allegiance to Robert. As the youngest of the group, and all I've ever known was family and community. So I operated from that space from the beginning of my career by bringing them in to show them that it was not just about me, but about us getting this record deal that I was about to get. We were a gospel group just years prior, so me thinking about them for them was partly programmed in me, all I knew. Again, because Robert was giving the opportunity to have his own imprint record label, I introduced my sister, my brother-in-law, and my niece to Robert at CRC Studios in '97 in hopes of landing my niece a career as an artist in this industry. Not a concert, as she testified. I didn't stop there. I asked Robert to check out my brother-in-law, who played the guitar, and other family members in hopes he'd assist them with their musical careers as well. I'm saying this again to say not all that you heard yesterday from my niece is true. I don't want to hinder this legal process, I don't, but to testify that I had my niece sit on Robert's lap and rub his head and have her ask him to be her godfather is an absolute fucking lie. You all cannot imagine the hurt that comes from pain caused by the people that you live and are willing to die for. Another lie. Robert and I were never in a romantic relationship. Never. To show you sabotage is a highly priority within them. If Robert and I were in a romantic relationship, you and your mom was cool allowing you to start a relationship with him? Again, no right answers for their actions. This journey of mine, I started with the greatest of intentions, and all I've gotten from it is hell. This is not how we were raised, and it has fucked up family names, relationships, and to death, allegedly. Enough is enough. I've endured being not believed before, so my niece's false statements don't bother me as much as her mindset and willingness to tell the lies. I'm certain it's from her mom. Certain. But she's now old enough to start bearing some level of responsibility of her actions. I love her more than life itself, so this is all I'm going to say regarding her and her mother, unless I have to.
Introducing the Night and Day Self-Care Collection. Pure herbal soap and body oil, crafted from high-quality natural ingredients. nightandayherbals.com